What Arty Noobs with general disturbance. This is the M53, M55, the Tier 9 American SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Abbey, and with 3 marks on the barrel and the Polish flag on the side. Yes, it's Oksydor. We haven't featured him for a while. We do have rather a large number of replays to do, and Oksydor put these ones up from the games he's played over the weekend and before. Okay, it's an 8-inch howitzer mounted on a hull that came from a Patton tank, an M47. Particularly effective Arty. Been used in several conflicts, including Vietnam, I believe. There are pictures of them. They were actually used by the US Army with the 8-inch howitzer, the M55. The M53 used by the US Marine Corps. Okay, enemy tank spotted. Panther 2. Direct hit. 340 hit points, and Oksydor is relocating. Doesn't have to move very far, just have to move a little weight on one side, so if the enemy does try and counter battery, they're not going to get very much from it. Now, this Arty was in service from 1952 to 1960, has a crew of 6, because they've got 2 loaders. Used by the USA, Belgium, Turkey, Spain, West Germany, and of course the Republic of China, which is Taiwan. Rounds out. Oh, nice hit. As you may have seen recently, I did actually put up a short clip, which I put up on the What Arty Noobs Facebook page, of me actually playing the M53, M55. I do get a lot of fun from playing this Arty, simply because it's not only the wide arc of fire, which means you can hit a lot of targets, but that 8-inch shell is capable of doing 900 alpha, and that's even after they nerfed it down from 1100 or 1000. They nerfed it anyway, but it's still very, very effective. 52 millimeters of pen, and even if it doesn't actually pen the enemy, it can still really upset them. Another, well, that was a near miss actually. 218 hit points. It's just relocated slightly. Now, as it's an Arty designed from a tank, what they've done is they've actually turned the tank around, put the engine at the front. Basically, it's an M47 in reverse, and the turret at the back of the vehicle is where the front of the vehicle would normally be. Another direct hit, this time 387, because he actually struck the armor. And he's not moving on this one, doesn't have to, because it appears the enemy Arty is focusing on attacking our armor. 2 tanks together, always a temptation. You can try and put the shell between them, but it's sometimes actually better to aim for the front one, and then if the shell does extend over and go too long, it'll hit the one that's behind him. He's pulling back, rounds out. Well, he got hit by the splash for 228. The AMX50 120 does have thin armor, so he took some there. This Arty does have reasonably good speed as well, because it's based on Patton tank. 56.3 kilometers an hour, so it can relocate fairly quickly. Okay, that ST1 looks very tempting now, and if we can stun him, then our teammates may get a shot, and yep, that's a direct hit for 260. Hit the frontal armor. Now, he has knocked a tree over there. That might give the enemy a clue as where you are. In fact, just recently there was a few replays I saw where somebody did accidentally knock a tree over, and then very shortly after that the enemy Arty spotted that and started firing. In fact, I think it was Sophie Line got spotted that way. She was playing Arty. Yep, yeah, I think she actually enjoys it. Rounds out. Yeah, unfortunately that Emil was pulling back rather quickly, and he didn't get enough lead. One of the drawbacks on the M53, M55 is the alpha on the stock gun. It's not that good. It's only 600, so you don't get as much, but it does have a better fire rate. The fire rate on this one is actually 40.27 seconds per shot, but on the M53 with the 155mm gun, it's capable of doing 26 seconds per shot. And of course, you can reduce that if you've got a good crew and all the extras like the gun laying drive and the ram up. But some of the members of What Arty Noobs just recently said they got much better performance from two different Artys, so long as they were actually using the stock gun. I think it was the M40 that they were using. That's the Tier 8 American with the 155mm gun. And the other one I think may have been the M53, M55 with, of course, the 155mm. That extra fire rate means you can hit more of the enemy. Of course, that gives you a better chance of getting the Confederate medal. And as you know, I'm a big fan of getting that medal because it means you hit a lot of the enemy. And that means you spread the Arty love all around. Much better chance that you've disabled or damaged somebody. Rounds out. Lovely hit. Always nice hitting a Borsig because they have virtually no armor. He got 331, which means he didn't penetrate it, but he certainly did take some hit points off it and give it some stun. Well, there's only 3 enemies left now. They've got an Object 780, a Lorraine 40 ton, the medium, and a Borsig, and that was the 780 dying to the Gorilla. And there goes the Borsig, which means that the last enemy is their Lorraine 40 ton tank. Well, Oksydor's not going to leave here for the moment. He's actually anticipating that the Lorraine 40 ton might try to sneak up into the cap area because he was last spotted south of the village, but he could have gone through the village and come north, in which case, oh no, we've located him. He's on the west side, and that means that Oksydor will get a shot on him. Rounds out. Yep, hit the rear of his vehicle for 391. Didn't pen, but it certainly did waste him. And we instead of capping out, we're resetting the cap on a continual basis, which is actually putting the pressure on him to get back to the cap, but it's taken away some of his hit points. Now he might decide to come to our cap and see if he can kill Oksydor, because he must have hurt after that shot hit his rear. And they're still resetting. Still haven't seen the Lorraine. There he is, he's been spotted. And Oksydor will get a final shot. Oh, it's a kill shot. Right onto the engine deck, went straight through it and wiped him out to win the game. So well done to Oksydor. Here's the end of battle results, and it's an ace tanker for Oksydor in the M53, M55. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 14 in this one. And yes, he did get a Confederate because he spread enough shells around the enemy to make it happen and hit at least 6 enemy tanks, which are subsequently killed by his teammates. Win 8 from that one, 3,676, I think that reads. I need my glasses to be absolutely certain. Yes, it is 76. And let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game because actually that went to the mystery meet here. Yes, it's one of the Italians, isn't it? It's one of these Italian tank destroyers come into the game and hasn't been loaded in yet, so we don't know which one it is. 4,788 hit points went to him. The second highest damage in the game actually went to the Object 780 on the enemy team. He picked up a Top Gun and 4,693 hit points. And the third highest damage went to Oksydor with 3,433. When it came to kills, though, it was actually the 780. He got 6 kills, the Top Gun. 3 kills went to the Gorilla 15. 2 kills went to the Mystery Tank, the TVP T5051, the T57 Heavy, the Emil 2, and only 1 tank on the enemy team managed to get 2 kills, and that was the Strib 103B. And when it came to base XP, it's, yes, the Mystery Tank got 1,218 base, 1,186 went to Oksydor because, of course, he got the stun, and no other players managed to get over 1,000 base, with the next one high being the 50 TP, who got 833. Oksydor fired 12 rounds in that game, which is pretty good considering he got an ammo capacity of 20, so he still had 8 rounds spare at the end of the game. He got 9 direct hits on the enemy and 1 penetration, and I'm suspecting that the Lorraine was the penetration right at the end. Yes, it was. Went straight through his engine deck at 404 hit points. Of course, he didn't score 404 from that last shot because he'd already scored some damage on that guy. But that shell was so well placed. As the Lorraine went up the bank of the rock, the shell came in almost vertically onto his engine deck. And, of course, it just sliced straight through it and finished him off. So, nice shot there by Oksydor. 11 splashes on the enemy as well. 3,433 hit points, all of it done at more than 300 meters. He hit 10 of the enemy, killed 1, so there's a 9 difference there. So he easily got the Confederate. I doubt if anyone got anywhere near him to get another Confederate. 4,022 hit points of stun assist, a very high number. That's why it's an ace tanker, and 11 stuns to get that. That's a lot of stun assists. So he hit the right tanks to allow his teammates to do some damage. It always helps to hit tanks that are in the sight of your teammates, and also to highlight them, to tell your teammates, that's the tank I'm going for. Then they see the shell come in, and at that moment they start shooting it to get the extra damage, because of course they know he's disabled at that point and he's not going to be able to fight back easily. He earned 70,305 credits in battle, and after ammunition, resupply and consumables, took away 37,865 credits profit, 1,779 XP on a premium count, and took away the same amount because there was no multipliers. So that was a decent battle. Let's have a quick look at the armor profile for this vehicle. Yes, it is basically M47. You can see from the front of the vehicle, 25mm, basically the same because it's flat. The engine deck 12.7. Yeah, they're just trying to skimp on the arm, just enough to stop small arms fire. The same on the sides of the vehicle. The turret at the back of the vehicle, again, very thin armor, 12.7. If we go to the live version, you can see anything hitting this would just go straight through. It's designed to be as lightweight as possible because the howitzer is very heavy. So they actually need to reduce the weight to make sure that it can move about quite fast. If we look at the module map, we'll just do a quick one at that. Yes, you can see the engine up front with the transmission directly in front of it. The engine sandwiched between 2 fuel tanks. We've got the howitzer at the back with the 2 loaders standing beside 2 big ammo racks. Yes, they put the shells into the racks at the back and they can just take them out and shovel them into the breech. Well, not exactly shovel because they are very heavy and it's 2-part ammunition. We've got 2 gunners. Yep, there's 1 gunner on one side, 1 gunner on the other. The driver is actually in the cab with the rest of the crew. He's actually got this raised seat which enables him to look out of a hatch, or he's got his own little cupola which he can then see what's going on while he's driving. And the tank commander is over on the other side of the vehicle, and he's got the radio to operate. So that's the end of the first game. Yes, I've got a double feature for you, and let's have a look at the second replay. The second replay is on the Live Oaks map, and it's in the Object 261, the Tier 10 Soviet SPG, and we're on the southwest spawn. Oh, 261 only has 1 howitzer. It's the 18cm howitzer, capable of 800 alpha and penetrating 45mm of armor. It's got a reload time by the book of 30.68 seconds, but you can see that Oksydor's got 24.1, so he's dropped that quite a bit. 6 seconds off. And he's loaded, he's ready to go, and he's hunting for his first victim. He's reckoning there might be somebody sitting in that bush. That's a pretty good bet. Somebody in the light tanks normally goes there, but he's looking for any destruction from those boxes, which Wargaming have neatly placed there. If they do get destroyed, that means somebody's in residence and he can get a shot. Well, his fellow Arty in the FB3805 decided, no, I'm going to fire in there first. And he's destroyed the boxes, which means that we're probably not going to get any warning that the enemy is about. And in fact, now Oksydor's decided that it's better for him to aim at the Concept 1B, who's turned up near the railway line, near the bridge. Oh, that worked out well. Well, although he didn't get a lot of damage, only 79, the Concept 1B stopped suddenly while he was pulling back, as you saw. And that might have actually meant a miss. It's very awkward sometimes when you see a heavy tank driver and they decide to play very differently from the normal game that most people play. Most people are very predictable about how they move, and you can work out exactly where you're going to move up, take a shot, pull back, and so you can work out where they're going to be stationary and get a direct hit like he did there with the UDES 1516. But when they suddenly pull back and then stop and then move forward, then it completely throws an Arty player off. And those are really difficult players to work with because you don't know what they're going to do next. But what we can see here is Progetto 66. He's spraying stationary, and he took a round right on the front of his vehicle for 283, but he got rid of his stun straight away because obviously he was aware that he needed to move about. But the FB3805 got a nice hit on him. Now you may have noticed that I'm actually using the health rings now on the tanks in the mini-map. It actually does help us to identify targets which are actually fairly weak. Stunned the 66 there. And he's picked up loads of stun assists as the Progetto was killed. It's a lot of tanks on the railway line. So it looks like that's where most of the battle is going to take place. I had the feeling, though, the enemy's not so happy about the railway line now, and it looks like they're almost trying to concede ground. UDES has pushed forward. I think that's a bit unwise. He thinks he can get into the dip, and he has been stunned, and there's some stun assist as well. He got rid of the stun fairly quickly, but he's now in a fairly forward position. And that means that he's going to have to stop. And when he stops, that's going to make him vulnerable. Okay, well, the Bisonte's decided to take up the charge. And he's moving forward. And now we've got a problem because the bridges get in the way. The girders and the bridges. He's trying to get a shot on that UDES because he's almost stationary. Shell fell short. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, I think he was writing something or typing something there or communicating with somebody. Could have been that this battle came from a live stream. Oksydor is actually streaming at this very moment. I'll put a link to his stream page. But I've actually got his stream on a different computer at the moment, so I can watch his stream and watch this replay while I'm doing it. But of course, I focus on the replay. After all, I want you to get the devoted attention. Well, it's slowed down now they push forward. The score's still 4 each, so it still could go either way. And in the town, there's not much going on. The tanks are sort of like staring at each other, taking pot shots over a distance. Oh, that was good. That was a direct hit on the strip 103B. He lost sight of him, but he fired it in, and suddenly there was no explosion when the shell hit the target, so he knows he's got a direct hit. But now that Striv is going to be a threat, and he might try to come this way. Luckily, we've got a Bisonte nearby, so he might intercept him, and the SU-130PM also might see him. Mind you, if the SU-130PM does get hit by the Striv, he is very vulnerable because he has no armor, or at least negligible armor. Okay, we've spotted a Scorpion. In fact, it was the SU-130PM who spotted him. And a direct hit. We got a sizzle there. I love those sizzles. Whenever we feel or get a direct hit, you get the explosion on the outside of the hull. It peppers the outer hull with explosive, and you get all these pot marks appear on the armor where the bits of explosive peck at the armor. Oh, fell short again on the UDES. If only that had struck. That UDES is a one-shot. If he does actually make contact, it probably will kill him outright. He's loaded. It's got 10 rounds left. You only get 20 rounds, so he's had half of his ammo already, and one of the enemy tanks is moving forward. It's the Vespera, one of the new Italian tank destroyers, but he's died, taken out by the Object 274A. There's the Udez. Oh, he's very cheeky. He managed to get across the water without us spotting him. Okay, over in the city, we've got several tanks which got very little hit points left. He fires at the ST1 and does get a hit, but not a whole lot of damage, only 26. Trying to go for the SMB now. He's being very difficult because that house is getting in the way. You don't really want to take a shot. Sometimes it's not a good idea to take a shot when the building's in the way. He fires it in this time and does get some splash. 251 shows that these SMVs are vulnerable to splash. And the SMV goes down, and he did pick up the stun assist. In fact, it was damage assist because he tracked the guy. So he was immobile, and he got hit by the SU-130 PM. He's loaded again. So I mentioned standard reload, 30 seconds. He's got 24. We can't see the enemy tanks in the town. None of our tanks in the town survived, I'm afraid. The scores are still even. 5 left on either side. Oh, direct hit! I think that may have been the tortoise that he just hit, but you could see some damage being done on the ground, and he fired the round in and got the hit. And the Striv has now been spotted. Now, if only he gets another 6 seconds, he should be able to hit the Striv. All that building's in the way. And now we've got another one coming in. It's the tortoise that he just hit is coming in from the town. He's loaded. And he gets the kill. The only kill he's got so far. So that makes the difference because now the enemy is down by 1. That Striv is on his last legs. He's somewhere in that area. Oksydor's loaded, ready to go. He's loaded the premium HE. Oh! 400 hit points. It didn't pen, but it certainly did an average roll. And the FB3805 has come over to join Oksydor in the trench. So they're working together. They can protect each other. Okay, ST1 is loaded. HE rounds out. He will hit. Oh, a second kill. 130 this time. Okay, that means there's only one tank destroyer left. It's the Striv. He's running. Oksydor's not loaded yet, but he could get a hit. If he can get this guy and take him out of the game, it will make a big difference. He's lining it up. Rounds out. Oh, no. Well, it might have damaged him. We just don't know. We really don't know at the moment. Our teammates are chasing that Striv, who's heading back to his own cap area. The enemy Arty in this one are a batch at 155-58, which of course is tier 10 and reasonably fast, but the GW Tiger, the tier 9 German, is not so fast based on the Tiger 2 hull. It's fairly slow, and so Visante's going up the railway line. He'll see if any of the guys try to run around the map to get away from our guys. They found one of them. It's the Batchat. He's dialing in. He fires a little early. Got 160. The FB3805 got the second shot, but it's the Object 274A who takes the kill. There's the Striv. He is a one-shot, but there's the GW Tiger, and he fancies the kill on that guy. Oh, he got a direct hit, but it didn't kill him. Only 393, so it must have hit some hard armor. But the Striv's going in for the kill, and he only needs to go to siege mode, quickly turn around. In fact, actually, he could have fired out of siege mode. And the FV3805 takes the kill, and that is the end of the game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was another ace tanker for Oksydor in the Object 261. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 14 out of that one, and he got another Confederate for hitting as more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate on that one, 3,977, super unicum standard, as you'd expect from somebody with 3 marks on the barrel of their howitzer. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he did actually get the highest damage in the game, but didn't pick up the high caliber because it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool, I'm afraid. 3,455 hit points to Oksydor, the next highest being the Striv 103B on his own team with 3,146, and that guy ought to learn to fire the Striv without going to siege mode. It actually does work. I've actually done that. When the Strivs first came into the game, the wedges, I actually thought, oh, well, you can fire this thing on the move. And I actually drove up behind an enemy heavy tank and shot him in the rear without even bothering to go to siege mode. It does work. Yes, it does work. It's just less accurate, but when you've got a huge rear of an enemy tank blooming in front of you, then you can't really miss. So if you're ambushing somebody or going in to shoot them, just shoot them straight away. Don't bother to siege mode. It's not necessary. 2,738 hit points went to the FV3805, who was obviously a very good player. He also picked up a Confederate in that game. When it came to kills, it was actually the GW Tiger on the enemy team did the best. He got 3 kills in that one, and 2 kills were earned by Oksydor, by the Striv 103B, the FV3805, the 60TP, the Basante C45, the Object 274A, and the Batchat 155-58 on the enemy team. So it's a lot of players with 2 kills apiece. So they must have been fairly good. When it came to base XP, yep, Oksydor got that one with 1,012. 988 went to the FV3805, 961 to the Striv 103B. He fired 19 rounds in that game, so he actually only had 1 round left at the end. He got 10 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but 17 splash. Damage of 3,455 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 2, did 1,536 hit points of stun assist or damage assist, and 885 hit points of stun assist or 14 stuns. So that's the damage assist. Yes, he got a lot because I think he tracked some guys, and then as a result of that, he managed to pick up the assist afterwards. He earned 60,575 credits from the battle, and after ammunition, resupply, and consumables, took away 12,395 credits profit, 7 bonds, because it was tier 10, 1,518 experience points, and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. So a quick look at the armor profile for this thing. It is based on the IS-7 tank. It does actually have nice armor at the front, 65 on the lower plate, upper plate 75mm, so yes, there is some fairly decent armor. Of course, as you know, the IS-7 didn't go into mass production, so this Arty never actually got built in. In fact, there's 3 designs that actually were the Object 261. This was the 3rd design, the 261-3 with the 18cm gun. The other ones had 152mm guns. You can see that the sides of the vehicle at the back only 30mm, at the front it's 50. It is open top, so of course it's highly vulnerable to HE rounds. If we look at the live model, you can see actually it looks fairly robust when it comes to armor, and if of course it was hit by an HE round, it would stand up fairly well, unless of course the shell hit the rear of the vehicle. Quick look at the modules. It's IS-7, so again it's a tank, a heavy tank in reverse. We've got the engine with the transmission directly in front. Driver's actually in the cab, much like the M53, M55. The gunner is on the left-hand side. The tank commander is actually sitting directly behind the driver in this case, and there's 2 loaders at the back, and they're working off both ammo racks like in the M53, M55. The fuel tanks run up either side of the inner part of the hull, so it's fairly easy to get a fire. If you can get the shell, or your tank shell, to actually go between the tracks, they should actually penetrate the vehicle and go into the fuel tank, so you might get a fire, but it's fairly also easy to hit the rear of the vehicle where you know the ammo racks are, and then you can do damage that way. So I hope you really enjoyed those replays. Again, Oksydor proving that he is capable of getting ace tankers at the drop of that. I'm pretty certain this was one of the replays from when he was streaming this weekend, because he does put up a whole bundle of them on our page as soon as he's done them, and we always enjoy watching these, because if you've ever seen him stream, you can see the amount of damage he racks up during the stream is considerable. And of course, he is a dedicated Arty player, so like those few members like Dr. Nix, who also Arty play all the time, they are capable of pulling extraordinary feats on the battlefield, and they are very useful to their team. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.